Imagine turning down a role and then watching someone else stand on that stage with the Oscar in their hand. For the role you turned down, that is every single entry on this list. One man turned down the same role twice across 2 different decades. One man had the part taken from him by a contractual dispute, and Marlon Brando stepped in and delivered the most quoted speech in American cinema. One man passed on 3 separate Best Actor roles in 3 consecutive years, 3 in a row. These are not small films. These are The Godfather, The Silence of the Lambs, Forrest Gump, Schindler's List. 40 entries. Let's go. Number 1. John Travolta, Forrest Gump, 1994. Tom Hanks. John Travolta read the script for Forrest Gump and passed. He didn't connect with the character. Tom Hanks connected immediately, ran across America, cried on a bench, and won his 2nd consecutive Best Actor Oscar. Travolta still hasn't explained what he didn't connect with. Number 2. Bill Murray, Forrest Gump, 1994. Tom Hanks. Bill Murray also read Forrest Gump and passed. The same man who made Groundhog Day and Ghostbusters did not see the potential. He has since admitted publicly he was wrong. Tom Hanks was the one person in Hollywood who wasn't. Number 3. Chevy Chase, Forrest Gump, 1994. Tom Hanks. Chevy Chase also passed on Forrest Gump. Before Hanks was attached, that script collected rejections from major stars. The film went on to win Best Picture, Best Director, Best Actor, and $678 million at the box office. Number 4. Gene Hackman, The Silence of the Lambs, 1991. Anthony Hopkins in one of the most extraordinary entries on this list. Gene Hackman was not just considered for Hannibal Lecter, he was cast. He withdrew after reading the full script, deciding the material was too dark. Anthony Hopkins replaced him, appeared on screen for 16 minutes, and won Best Actor. The shortest screen time to win that award in Oscar history. Gene Hackman passed away on February 18, 2025 at 95 years old. Number 5. Michelle Pfeiffer, The Silence of the Lambs, 1991. Jodie Foster. Michelle Pfeiffer turned down Clarice Starling. The material was too dark for where her career was in 1991. Jodie Foster walked into that basement without hesitation and won Best Actress for a performance that has never been surpassed in the thriller genre. Number 6. Meg Ryan, The Silence of the Lambs, 1991. Jodie Foster. Meg Ryan was America's sweetheart in 1991, and the darkness of Silence of the Lambs was the exact opposite of her world. She passed. Jodie Foster went into the dark completely. The film swept all 5 major Oscars, one of only 3 films in history to achieve that. Number 7. Warren Beatty, The Godfather, 1972. Marlon Brando. Warren Beatty was offered The Godfather, Michael Corleone, and passed. Then Marlon Brando walked in with cotton balls in his cheeks, created the most imitated voice in cinema history, and won Best Actor. The cotton balls cost nothing. The Oscar was priceless. Number 8. Robert Redford, The Godfather, 1972. Marlon Brando. Robert Redford was also considered for Michael Corleone. He didn't take it. Coppola fought for Brando against the studio's wishes and won. The Godfather became the most influential film in the history of American cinema. Michael Corleone was always going to be Al Pacino's. Number 9. Burt Reynolds, One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, 1975. Jack Nicholson. Burt Reynolds turned down Randall McMurphy. Jack Nicholson took it and gave one of the most electrifying performances in cinema history. The film swept all 5 major Oscars. Burt Reynolds said in later interviews it was one of the biggest mistakes of his professional life. He said it clearly. He said it often. He passed away in 2018. Number 10, Gene Hackman. One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, 1975. Jack Nicholson. Gene Hackman appears on this list twice, and this entry is remarkable because it happened twice. He passed on the original Broadway production in the 1960s. Then he passed on the film in 1975. Same role. 2 different decades. Same mistake. Jack Nicholson made it permanently and completely his own. Number 11, John Travolta, Philadelphia, 1993. Tom Hanks. John Travolta also turned down Philadelphia, his second entry on this list. Tom Hanks took the role of Andrew Beckett and won Best Actor. It was the first of his 2 consecutive Oscar wins. Travolta passed on both films that produced those 2 consecutive Oscars. Number 12, Daniel Day-Lewis, Philadelphia, 1993. Tom Hanks. Daniel Day-Lewis, the man with 3 Best Actor Oscars, more than anyone in history, passed on Philadelphia. His reason was never publicly given. Tom Hanks took it and delivered the definitive performance of the AIDS crisis era. Number 13, Jack Nicholson, Kramer vs. Kramer, 1979. Dustin Hoffman. Jack Nicholson turned down Kramer vs. Kramer. Dustin Hoffman took it, cooked burnt French toast on the first take without rehearsal, and the director said it was perfect and moved on. That single unrehearsed take became one of the most discussed moments of naturalistic performance in cinema history. Number 14, Warren Beatty, Kramer vs. Kramer, 1979. Dustin Hoffman. Warren Beatty passed on Kramer vs. Kramer, his second entry on this list. Dustin Hoffman found the most emotionally raw material of his career in it and won Best Actor. The film also won Best Picture, Best Supporting Actress for Meryl Streep, Best Director, and Best Screenplay. Number 15, Bill Murray, Rain Man, 1988. Dustin Hoffman. Bill Murray was considered for Raymond Babbitt in Rain Man. Dustin Hoffman spent a full year researching autism before production began. The result permanently changed how Hollywood depicted developmental disability on screen. $354 million. Best Picture, Best Actor. Number 16, Jack Nicholson, Rain Man, 1988. Dustin Hoffman. Jack Nicholson was also offered Rain Man and turned it down, his second entry on this list. Hoffman's 12 months of research, visits to care facilities, consultation with specialists. All of it is in every frame. He passed. Hoffman prepared and won. Number 17, Burt Reynolds, Terms of Endearment, 1983. Jack Nicholson. Burt Reynolds turned down Terms of Endearment, his second entry on this list. He passed on the charming, retired astronaut next door. Jack Nicholson stepped in and won Best Supporting Actor. The film won 5 Oscars. Reynolds said this was among his greatest professional regrets. Both of his greatest regrets are on this list. Number 18, Tom Hanks, American Beauty, 1999. Kevin Spacey. Tom Hanks turned down American Beauty, a third consecutive Best Actor opportunity after his 2 consecutive wins. Kevin Spacey took Lester Burnham and gave one of the defining performances of the 1990s. American Beauty won 5 major Oscars at the 2000 ceremony. Number 19, John Travolta, American Beauty, 1999. Kevin Spacey. John Travolta passed on American Beauty, his third entry on this list. Forrest Gump, Philadelphia, American Beauty. 3 Best Actor Oscar performances of the 1990s were available to him. He passed on all 3. In each case, another actor received the award. Number 20, James Caan, The Godfather Part 2, 1974. Robert De Niro. James Caan played Sonny Corleone in the original Godfather and was asked to play young Vito in Part 2. He turned it down, afraid of being compared to Brando. Robert De Niro stepped in, learned Sicilian dialect, and won Best Supporting Actor for playing a younger version of a character that had already won an Oscar. James Caan passed away in 2022. Number 21, Mel Gibson, Jerry Maguire, 1996, Cuba Gooding Jr. Mel Gibson turned down Rod Tidwell in Jerry Maguire. Cuba Gooding Jr. took it, improvised much of the character's emotional energy, and won Best Supporting Actor, delivering the most enthusiastically celebrated Oscar acceptance speech of the decade. Show me the money. Every word of it was his. Number 22, Burt Lancaster, Patton, 1970. George C. Scott. Burt Lancaster was considered for Patton and didn't get the role. George C. Scott opened the film with an 8-minute speech in front of an enormous American flag, still studied in the film schools as one of the greatest single scenes in cinema history. He won Best Actor and declined the award. Burt Lancaster passed away in 1994. Number 23, Rod Steiger, Patton, 1970. George C. Scott. Rod Steiger, an Oscar winner himself, was also considered for Patton. George C. Scott's opening speech is in every film studies curriculum on earth. The silence before the first word. Still perfect, still the standard. Rod Steiger passed away in 2002. Number 24, Chevy Chase, Tootsie, 1982. Dustin Hoffman. Chevy Chase was approached for Tootsie. Dustin Hoffman spent 5 years getting the film made, wore the dress, looked in the mirror as Dorothy, and wept because he understood he had dismissed interesting women his entire life for not being beautiful enough. Tootsie is still one of the greatest American comedies ever made. Number 25, Kevin Costner. Schindler's List, 1993. Liam Neeson. Kevin Costner was at the peak of his career after Dances with Wolves and discussed Schindler's List with Spielberg. It didn't happen. Liam Neeson played Schindler, a war profiteer who becomes a savior without ever fully understanding the transformation in himself. The film won 7 Oscars. Spielberg calls it the most important film of his life. Number 26, Mel Gibson. Schindler's List, 1993. Liam Neeson. Mel Gibson was also considered for Schindler. His second entry on this list, he didn't take it. Liam Neeson's final scene, calculating how many more people he could have saved if he'd sold his car sooner, still breaks audiences. It broke them in 1993. It breaks them now. Number 27, Multiple Considered. The Pianist, 2002. Adrian Brody. The Pianist went through a long casting process before Adrian Brody was chosen. He gave up his apartment, sold his car, learned 4 Chopin pieces from scratch, and lost 30 pounds. He was 29. He became the youngest Best Actor winner in Oscar history. He gave absolutely everything. Number 28, Mel Gibson. Good Will Hunting, 1997, Robin Williams. Various names were discussed for the therapist in Good Will Hunting. Robin Williams took the role and won Best Supporting Actor, the only competitive Oscar of his career after 3 Best Actor nominations. His acceptance speech remains one of the most genuine moments ever captured at the Academy Awards. He passed away in 2014. Number 29. Al Pacino, studio tried to remove. The Godfather, 1972. Marlon Brando, and this entry is different from every other on this list. Al Pacino did not turn down The Godfather. The studio tried repeatedly to remove him from it throughout production. Coppola threatened to leave entirely if Pacino was replaced. He won the argument. The studio was wrong about everything. Coppola knew it from the beginning. Number 30. Robert De Niro. Annie Hall, 1977. Woody Allen decided only he could play Alvy Singer from the inside with the truth the character required, and directed and starred. Annie Hall won Best Picture, Best Director, Best Screenplay, and Best Actress for Diane Keaton. It redefined American romantic comedy and has not been surpassed in that category in 50 years. Number 31. Tom Cruise. The Shawshank Redemption, 1994. Morgan Freeman. Tom Cruise was reportedly considered for Andy Dufresne before Tim Robbins was cast. Shawshank was a box office disappointment on release. Then audiences found it on cable and VHS and would not stop watching. It has held the #1 position on the IMDb user rating chart for over 20 years. The greatest film ever made by the largest film audience on Earth. Number 32. Frank Sinatra. On the Waterfront, 1954. Marlon Brando. Frank Sinatra was not just considered for Terry Malloy in On the Waterfront. He was cast and then replaced through a contractual dispute. Marlon Brando stepped in and delivered the taxicab scene. "I could have been a contender, Charlie. I could have been somebody." He won Best Actor. Sinatra was furious and vocal about it for years. He passed away in 1998. Number 33. Warren Beatty. Midnight Cowboy, 1969. Jon Voight. Warren Beatty's third entry. He was considered for Midnight Cowboy and passed. Jon Voight gave a performance of extraordinary vulnerability alongside Dustin Hoffman. The film won Best Picture, the only X-rated film in history to achieve that. Beatty has won Best Director for Reds, but Midnight Cowboy was never going to be his. Number 34. Liam Neeson. Braveheart, 1995. Mel Gibson. Liam Neeson was considered for William Wallace in Braveheart, fresh off his Oscar nomination for Schindler's List. Mel Gibson decided to direct and star himself. He trained extensively, led a production of extraordinary physical scale, and won Best Director. Braveheart won 5 Oscars. The blue face paint confirmed William Wallace had found the right man. Number 35. Julia Roberts. Shakespeare in Love, 1998. Gwyneth Paltrow. Julia Roberts was attached to Shakespeare in Love at an early stage. The film was restructured and Gwyneth Paltrow was cast. Paltrow's final scene on the beach, realizing she must walk away from the greatest love she will ever know, still devastates audiences. She won Best Actress. Julia Roberts won her own Oscar for Erin Brockovich 2 years later. But Shakespeare in Love was Paltrow's. Number 36. Tom Cruise. A Beautiful Mind, 2001. Russell Crowe. Tom Cruise was considered for mathematician John Nash in A Beautiful Mind. Russell Crowe played Nash from brilliant young arrogance through paranoid schizophrenia to the Nobel Prize speech in one of his most technically demanding performances. The film won Best Picture, Best Director, Best Supporting Actress for Jennifer Connelly, and Best Screenplay. Number 37, Madonna, Chicago, 2002, Catherine Zeta-Jones. Madonna lobbied for Chicago for years. She wanted the lead role. By the time the film was made, Renee Zellweger was Roxy Hart and Catherine Zeta-Jones was Velma Kelly. Zeta-Jones won Best Supporting Actress. Chicago won 6 Oscars, including Best Picture. The Cell Block Tango was danced without her. Number 38, Nicolas Cage, The Wrestler, 2008. Mickey Rourke. Nicolas Cage was originally cast in The Wrestler and left due to scheduling conflicts. Mickey Rourke stepped in and gave the most autobiographically raw performance of his career. The line between the character's comeback and Rourke's own real-life collapse was so thin, audiences couldn't always tell which they were watching. Director Darren Aronofsky says he cannot imagine anyone else in the role. Number 39, Christian Bale, The Revenant, 2015. Leonardo DiCaprio. Christian Bale was cast in The Revenant and had to leave. Leonardo DiCaprio spent 9 months filming in sub-zero temperatures. He ate raw bison liver. He slept inside a horse carcass. He was submerged in freezing rivers repeatedly. He won Best Actor, his first Oscar after 5 nominations across 22 years. The standing ovation when his name was called was one of the longest in Oscar history. Number 40, Matt Damon, Manchester by the Sea, 2016. Casey Affleck. Matt Damon was set to star in Manchester by the Sea. A scheduling conflict forced him to step back. He moved into the producer's chair and recommended Casey Affleck for the lead. Affleck won Best Actor for a performance of such devastating quietness that the most powerful moments contain almost no dialogue at all. Damon produced the film that gave his collaborator one of the great Oscar performances of the decade. He could not be in it. He made sure it happened anyway. 40 films, 40 Oscars that went to someone else, and a moment for the 6 actors on this list who are no longer with us: Gene Hackman, Burt Reynolds, James Cain, Frank Sinatra, Burt Lancaster, Rod Steiger. 6 remarkable careers, 6 extraordinary legacies. The roles they turned down do not diminish any of them. They are remembered for what they built, not for what they walked away from. Drop a comment. Which missed Oscar on this list is the most unbelievable to you? Subscribe, hit the bell, and we'll see you in the next one right here on Lifestyle TV 2.0.